One of the best and worst parts about being a comic book fan is knowing that you cannot read everything. I've looked through my wants list on Comic Geeks. These are the books that when I'm at a new shop, I run to their used section, I run to their back bins, I run to see if they have this because I've struck out on my journey up until now. And I've identified 15 that I feel like are top priority within that list for me. They're what I'm checking for first, and we're gonna go through them today because my hope is that in making this video and documenting this list, I accidentally manifest finding these books out in the wild. If I mention one of your favorite books, I am so sorry, but you do have to tell me about it so that I can kick it into gear. I've broken the list of 15 books down by publisher, and you can see that within the chapters and the sections on the video timeline. We've got Image, DC, and Marvel. Top of the list, because it's top of mind for me right now, is the mainline Ultimate series. I've got the first 3 trades right now. The 4th one literally just came out, so it is nearly time for me to get into this. Not only do I anticipate that I will really enjoy this as a series, but I truly loved reading this Ultimate Spider-Man series, and I think that reading this will allow me to have such a beautiful reread with just more knowledge of that Ultimate Spider-Man series that frankly got me into my local comic shop. The next one is almost kind of like an entire genre within itself, and it's on this list because I'm surely just intimidated by it and I don't know where to start because everybody will tell you something different, and that is just X-Men in general. I'm not sure where to start and I'm sick of having decision paralysis on this, so unless somebody can really solidly or overwhelmingly tell me otherwise, I think I'm just going to launch into the Midnight's X-Men series because I'm excited about the Midnight's Fantastic Four and the Midnight Spider-Man series and start there. You can always go back. You can always go and read something different, but I think I could identify characters that I'd like to know the regular versions of, and then maybe that will help lead me somewhere specific. I don't know. X-Men really stresses me out. Similarly to the X-Men, but something I have read, is Fantastic Four. I really like a lot of the modern stuff. The movie really got me interested in them as like a set of characters, but that first family dynamic just kind of tugs at me, and I would love to go back and read the original Fantastic Four, and honestly, I can't say that about many other characters or heroes or even writers, if I'm being honest. But something about those original Fantastic Four books within the lore of comic books as an industry and a medium and a format that people are consuming is really special and like luring to me. So I would love to get my hands on early Fantastic Four stuff, and I think that truly the best way to do that will be through a digital subscription, and I just haven't done that yet. When the day comes that I finally cave and activate a digital subscription, I'm also itching to check out Dan Slott's She-Hulk run. I know it is collected somewhat recently in a really pretty omnibus format, but I don't like an omni. I really don't like an omni. I don't like the price of an omni. I don't like the reading experience of an omni. And I'll be honest, I don't like how they look on bookshelves because they never actually match. As much as you can tell yourself they match, they don't match. So I would love to go back and read one of my favorite writers from Spider-Man on She-Hulk, who is one of my like foundational or like pillar characters that I'm really interested in. Maybe this next one is kind of a cheat because it's the same character, but I'm categorizing it with trades and with chunks of stories, but also I'm gonna name 4 things about Spider-Man that I would love to go back and read. One is I have not read Life Story and I have not read Blue. I'm sure this is true for other characters, but Spider-Man to me stands out as a character that has carried people through different traumatic and dramatic moments like in time and in our world, and they've translated that into the book. So I would love to get my hands on and somehow find a way to read the 9/11 and also the Barack Obama inauguration chunks of the Amazing Spider-Man timeline. I think that would be so interesting. Moving on to DC, I'm starting off with something that I think is actually so nearby in my future, and that is Gotham Central. This is now existing in a DC compact, so the next time I see that at my local shop for $10, I'm going to snag it. I suspect that Gotham Central could kind of have like that almost meta experience as a reader. I'm in my head kind of picturing having the same like finish the book and go like, that I had with reading the Marvel series by Marvel. So I don't know. And when it's in a compact, you can't argue about that. And it's got characters in it that I would love to know more about. Okay, Green Lantern is huge right now. I know nothing about the Lanterns, any of them. I couldn't even tell you how many there are. Whenever I've seen them pop up and stuff, I'm really confused about who's who and what's what and where they all belong and all of it. I don't know a single thing. But something that I do know is that I would love to get my hands on the trade of the Alan Scott Green Lantern character. How does he fit into it all? I don't know. And I think that finding the trade is kind of like the barrier to me reading that, unless I activate a DC subscription. And the last DC book that I'll mention is on this list because I'm not really sure where to start or what format to look for it in, but I would love to get my hands on some of the DC Bombshells stuff. I think that that would be such a cool exploration of characters. I'm actually relatively new to DC as a whole, so there's a lot of people that I'm kind of taking note of and would like to pursue more about, and I think that that could kind of do that in a well-rounded way, but also introduce me to a lot of people at once. Genuinely a really embarrassing one on my list is Saga, because I own the first 10 trades. I have been gradually collecting these over the past 10 years as I've seen them for like good prices, but I've always hesitated to start it because I know this series is so large that I don't want to be stuck waiting for more of it to come out. Because look, here we are, it's still coming out. Good thing I didn't start this in 2016 or whatever. A book that you could apparently read out of order and it would be fine, but that freaks me out, so I haven't done it and I haven't found the trades anywhere yet, is Assorted Crisis Events. This book is so intriguing to me, and I for sure have part of that like FOMO element on it, but I just think it is doing something really, really cool from my outside view of what this series is, and Dennis Camp has been killing it for me on Bleeding Hearts, and if I enjoy reading that Ultimates mainline, I know I'm really gonna be itching to get my hands on Assorted Crisis. Another book that I am just staring down is Escape, because rumor has it, I think, that it is only going to be a 2-trade book, and that second trade is close. We're close. So I view reading in that situation as like, why would you get trade 1 just to wait for trade 2 when that's all there's gonna be, because you should just be able to enjoy them together. I've recently run into that trying to read Extremity right now, and it's just stupid. Why did I choose to do it that way? I'm a really big Rick Remender fan, and I didn't know about this until somebody commented, but there's a series called The Holy Roller, and it's bowling based, and I think that's so silly, and I really want to read it. And that's just a matter of picking up the trade, but also I've seen the covers and they look pretty cool. Like I might want to get that in singles. I know, like I can visualize at my local comic shop where that trade is sitting on the shelf, multiple copies of it, but the single issues really are kind of calling to me, and those aren't as available. So I should just bite the bullet and grab the trade, and then if I want to double down and get a single or 2 or 3 or whatever of my favorite ones, that's probably the route I should take, but I haven't pulled myself to do it yet. Another one on this list that's kind of a cheat is The Walking Dead. I read this up to a certain point a really long time ago, so I may as well have not actually read The Walking Dead. I'm currently working on getting my hands on the compendiums because I think that's going to be the best way to go about it. And I have made the decision to read it in that original black and white thing, even though the colored versions look beautiful. Finally, I have saved the most frustrating book for last, and that is White Sky. I think that this is exactly the type of book that was made for me as a reader, and I couldn't get my hands on it because this came out right after Dork, and I think most of us know what happened with Dork, and that seems to have held its value and stayed true. The people who did clamor for it do really enjoy it, but that spilled over into White Sky, and a bunch of people panic bought White Sky hoping that it would be like an investment like Dork, and then I didn't get to pick it up, even though I genuinely really want to know and read White Sky. So I'm really bummed about that. If it becomes a favorite when I do pick it up, I know it's incredibly unrealistic for me to go find any of the early versions of it to add to my personal single issues collection because of the like fake hype that was created around it, but Oh, if I just managed to openly neglect to read 15 of your favorite books, I'm deeply, deeply apologetic. I know that a lot of these books and series are deeply loved by a lot of people, and that plays a big role in like how they've even come across my feeds and my pages and, you know, been able to pique interest from me. And so I think that that is just kind of a nod to the whole comic book community and what I value by being present, by talking to people, by hanging out, by starting conversations, by perusing the local library, by looking at comic geeks every week. Like that is all what enables us to kind of like perpetuate and propel and like hope to find all of these books, whether they're old stories or new stories, coupled with the fact that we just have to accept that we can't read them all. It's always really fun to balance what you want to read with what you have on hand and what's available to you. And so these are just 15 books that I really, really hope that I can get my hands on in the next year or near future or whatever it may look like. But I know I need to get to them because I really want to get to them. So I hope that whatever you're reading and whatever's on your TBR is super exciting. Have a good day.